Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Friday, June 28th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. A local businessman is appealing to the government to come to his rescue as a $5 million investment he made 8 years ago sits idle. Managing Director of Bees Recycling, Paul Bino, told journalists who toured his Cane Garden St. Thomas facility this morning that he is still anxious to use his metal shredding machine. He purchased the machine in 2011 after the Democratic Labour Party promised to set up a green energy project. Bino is hoping the Mia Motley administration will address his plight.
We got a piece of equipment that will shred a fridge, stove, washing machine, an old car, separating the dirt, the glass and the tires and the foam and things that the fridges will separate that. And we have it on island now for the last clear 8 years, hoping that we can get it set up. But we had the ups and downs in trying to get it moved to a proper location, and I'm hoping that under this administration that can happen.
Meanwhile, Bino, the island's largest operator in the recycling industry, is calling on government to implement laws to make it mandatory for households to separate their garbage. He also wants to see the incentives introduced to encourage more people to recycle. Bino points out that while more Barbadians are aware of the importance of recycling, there is still a lot more work to be done.
We need to separate our households exactly what it is you were saying to the landfill and what is go to a recycling company, meaning that you don't put everything in bag and put it outside for sanitation. If you separate the items at household, sanitation will have very little to do.
But how do we get the people to do it? Do we have to mandate this then?
That is something that government will have to get involved in and say to the people of Barbados, this is what we are doing. And as long as them come out and say that, then I say to you, everybody would understand what it is we must do.
It's day 4 of an extensive search for missing American couple Oscar Suarez and Magdalena DeVille. Prime Minister Mia Motley yesterday extended the search for another 72 hours, and relatives say they are grateful for the efforts of local and regional authorities who have been joined by U.S. representatives. However, there is still no sight of the couple. The family is offering a $10,000 reward to anyone who may have meaningful information on the couple's disappearance. Former Deputy Commissioner of Police Keith Whitaker received a fitting send-off this afternoon as scores packed the St. George Parish Church for his funeral service. He was hailed as a fearless top cop who made a phenomenal contribution to serving his country. Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Euclid Thompson, told the congregation the former Deputy Commissioner of Police had a stellar career which began on October 6, 1953 and spanned 39 years, ending on July 13, 1992, when he officially retired. Thompson said Whitaker was a disciplinarian, and he expected members of the force to conform to the principles and ideals of the organization. Family members described their loved one as compassionate, hardworking, and loving. In other news, Director of the Coastal Zone Management Unit, Dr. Leo Brewster, has raised concern that some fisherfolk are engaging in fishing practices that are harmful to the marine environment. Dr. Brewster was speaking at a fisheries forum last evening organized by the Barbados National Union of Fisherfolk Organizations. He said some fisherfolk are sending nets across reefs, which results in harm to turtles. He also pointed to changes in single net practices which are damaging reefs.
There may be some of you in here, I don't know if you've changed your fishing practice from how it used to be 15 to 20 years ago, where you were very conscious as to how you were looking to corral the fish and where you were capturing them. There are some of your practitioners that are going out and just raking the nets over the reefs. Right? It's been reported to us. We've lodged complaints about the manner which is being done. You're not corralling them on the sandy bottoms like you used to before, but you're just taking the nets and hauling it over as if you're trawling. Right? As if you're trawling over reef, that you know where reef is. And you know you never used to do that sort of practice before. Now, some of the seasoned practitioners in this would know that it's wrong, and therefore, you guys that are not doing that, I commend you. But some of the younger fellas that may have come into this system and don't know, they need to be educated.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional happenings, incumbent President of Jamaica's opposition People's National Party, Dr. Peter Phillips, launches his campaign for what is expected to be a hotly contested leadership race come September.
The theme, One PNP. The message, the PNP will win the next general election. Dr. Peter Phillips telling a packed audience at the Quarterly Auditorium Thursday night that under his leadership, this will come to pass. He laid out his vision for the 80-year-old political party, chief of which he says is to combine youth and experience at the representational level, a process he notes has already begun.
I only want the best for the party that I have served for over 40 years.
Another reason why he argues he should remain leader, he says he's paid his dues in service to the party.
I have served at every level, from group member, members of commissions, international affairs, political education where I was chairman, member of the secretariat team to general secretary, to member of parliament, to vice president, to campaign director, and finally, by your vote and your support as president of this great party.
On the international front, France registered its highest temperature since records began on Friday as the death toll rose from a heat wave suffocating much of Europe.
These classrooms in the southern French town of Nîmes should be filled with students. Instead, they're deserted as a heatwave grips the country. France registered its highest temperature since records began on Friday, with the mercury hitting 45.1 degrees Celsius in the Provence region. 4 administrative regions in the south have been issued with an unprecedented red weather warning, leading to up to 4,000 school closures. Further north in Paris, it's a different story, with tourists lining the Seine and exercisers continuing to pound the pavement and take to their bikes.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media, in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Good evening.